welcome to another edition of the Eternal Journey. I am That Resolves, and this is Highway Queen. Not a big fan of Royal Burn, I don't think many of us are, so I thought I'd just name this a little bit differently, just name it where it is. There's no kings here, I don't think Bandit Queen needs one. So what is this deck? It's basically the old Stonescar deck. There's a little bit of a change recently with the Argenport Instigator, and now this little dude costs 2 Shadow Influence, which could be enough to make this a little bit too difficult to play, but I'm sure the games will help us figure that out. We do already have other influence intensive pieces to the deck, like the Champion of Chaos, and also the Vicious Highwayman needs double. So maybe it'll be fine, but needing something on 2 and then needing something on like between the turns of like 3 and 5 is a little bit different. Especially when we've got like the Soulfire Drake just fighting for all that fire influence. So this deck is basically softening you up in the early game with the Oni Ronins, the Pyroknights, and just all this sort of like cheap removal like Suffocate and Annihilate. And eventually we're just going to get you low enough where a Bandit Queen's going to be lethal or just a Vicious Highwayman off the top. And if we look at this selection of cards here, we've basically got 14 haste threats that are just able to kill our opponents out of nowhere, like after they think they've stabilized. Because we've got Bandit Queen, Highwayman, Obliterate, and Soulfire Drake. Perhaps the 6 5-drops here is a little bit much, but we do also get to cheat on power because we've got the Amethyst Waystone, which late in the game is just going to cantrip and just get us a little bit deeper in the deck. And we also have Vara's Favor, which is just going to incrementally get more power out of our deck. And though we've only got 25, this brings up to like 29, and then the sort of the Amethyst Waystone is perhaps evens it out to like a complete 30. Can't really fit any crests in here because I just don't want depleted power, and it's going to suck enough just with this Sea of Chaos when we've all got like 10 sources to turn it on. Perhaps we could go down on like some of the Waystones, like the Granite Waystone's potentially not very impactful on the board, but we just have like some sort of synergy with the Bandit Queen. Maybe we've actually got enough units that share a type, because we've like got some Gunslinger like Rogue all over here, because we've got like Gunslingers and Rogues all over, like the Yeti, like get out here Yeti. And perhaps we could just play that as like an additional like dual coloured source, like for whichever one we need at the moment in time. But maybe it's just worse than Diplo Seal, because we do just want to be deploying all our threats though. Our bigger ones do share, so maybe that's okay. Anyway, I've probably said enough about the deck. Let's get onto the games and see what we really think once we've seen it in action. Okay, so easy redraw here. We're on the play though, so if we're able to get an Oni Ronin down so we're in good shape. Sadly we don't, but we can. We still get to play the Argenport Instigator on time, which is nice. I was a little bit concerned about that, but hope it's not going to be a problem. Oh, don't want to play the Pyroknight light, but at least if our opponent plays a thing here, we're able to disrupt it and deploy a threat, which is probably where we want to be. Hopefully this isn't like the sort of removal pile deck, because I'm not sure how I would cope against that, though we do have like a bunch of charge damage in the deck, so perhaps we can just deal with any of the weapons. So wanted poster here tells me that there's probably some sort of torch coming. So just get in for our damage. Play Pyroknight. Well, not sure if they're just playing like that preemptively just to get it down. Okay, maybe this is like the Jun sort of Gunslingers mid-range control deck I've been seeing. Well, this guy gets a little bit of damage in there. This guy will draw our opponent cards at some point, but right now I'm mostly interested in just sort of setting up with the Outlaw and trying to do it next turn. I was thinking about doing the Bandit Queen there, but hopefully we're just able to get a little bit greedy and our opponent isn't able to punish us. Okay, so we're sort of... Our opponent's put this on D, which is good for us. Because it means we get to suffocate that. Play our threat. The Instigator just getting in there for more and more damage. And then the Warcry off the Outlaw, just sort of improving the quality of our next draw. Although it's pretty much just going to be Bandit Queen win the game. I'm hoping here. And there's a Rune Hammer, so I was probably going to go for the 3-3 here. But it's not going to be enough. Because we've got the Bandit Queen for a bunch of damage here. And nice seeing you, Oni Ronin, but a little bit too late to the party. Okay, well, we're on the draw, but we do get the power of the Oni Ronin. But I think this is probably just actually a redraw, because it's just got a bunch of 5 power spells there. Don't really want them in hand, just want to top deck them when I promise it 5 or 6 life, then I'm quite happy. So this sounds probably a little bit better, because we do get to play the Oni Ronin, and hopefully this Vara's Favour will just like sort of chuck out some sort of block here. But we're against Argenport, so it's unlikely we'll see any. But we do get to play the Ronin anyway, and next turn we get to play the Banner, and hopefully draw like a 2 power unit spell to follow up with. Okay, this is some sort of like removal pile. Let's get the Banner down. That getting to work. At this point we do have the 4 power in hand, so I'm just going to save the Vara's Favour. Deal for any sort of Rune Hammer that we can't deal with otherwise. I'm hoping we get another turn of Warcries here, because then we'll be in pretty good shape. Okay, so we are... Do we just want the more damage down? Maybe this is the time we can just deploy the Vara's Favour. Because if there is a hammer here, we're able to deal with it. Yeah, so we'll just Vara's Favour here, because if there is a hammer, then we're still able to deal with it. With the Bandit Queen. I'd much prefer like if our opponent just like in a couple of turns time just slams down with a Stone-Powered Alchemist like a Macto or something, we're able to just exhaust it. So no respect for the Oni Ronin. Yeah, you probably just want to take as little damage as possible. So right here we're just going to go Haste Threat into Haste Threat. This gets us a good amount of damage in, and then we're able to finish off with a Soulfire Drake into an Overwhelm. So our opponent pretty much has to have a harsh rule here, otherwise we're in great trouble. Okay, so they get to draw 2 cards here from the wanted poster. But we're able to get in there with the Drake. Our opponent's on 4, they need to deal with this basically now, otherwise it kills them, like, obviously. But playing a Macto isn't going to be enough because we do have a way of exhausting it and also just a way of just dealing 6 damage to our opponent. So I'm just hoping our opponent isn't playing any... They perhaps want to do it the way around to gain some life. Because that would have been better, but... Because then they'd be an 8, but... Guess we're in trouble anyway. Okay, well, infinite power, so we'll redraw this. This deck's probably pretty easy to decide your mulligans. Oh no. It's one of the rare occasions where casting the Argenport Instigator is going to be a bit rough. Perhaps we've got like enough gunslingers and rogues in a deck where we can actually play the tribal land. But that's something we could look at. I pretty much just figured that because we do have the ability to have the power influences for the Champion of Chaos and for the Highwayman, that perhaps this would be a pretty trivial feat. This is going to be a bit of trouble because at least we're going to have a 4-3 Overwhelm with 2 removal spells to back it up. But we're not going to have the Instigator out there for quite some time, and we'll miss quite a lot of damage from that. Especially as we're against a removal pile here. So sadly, well, I'm just going to use the Waystone now because it'll be a long way before we get to use that Nightfall. I'd rather get this down first. If there's going to be like a Torch or a Slayer, I'd rather than do it here because this gets a lot more powerful. Yep, sure will. I think this is a case where we're able to just torch this. Just get out of here. They gain 1, like net 1, but we're able to just get in and use Polar Power on our next turn. So now we can keep the Waystone back. Also would have been better there just to get in with the Queen, just to get in for a nice juicy 8 points of damage. But as our opponent's not able to harsh rule here, we're able to just do that next turn. And Shadow Sigil is exactly what we wanted. This gets us an extra point off here. Yep, 16 damage was enough. Probably mustn't have had a harsh roll, just had to deal with our threats one by one. Okay, so this hand would be basically perfect if these were dual lands, but they're going to be entering depleted, which means we're not going to be able to deploy our threats on time. And that's probably the easiest way just to lose the game. There are probably a bunch of decks where you can get away with just like playing a turn 2 Oni Ronin. But in the dark, I'd rather just not. Just get these Waystones down, which are going to be horrendous. Well, at least we get to deploy a threat in each of our turns. Uh oh, we're against Fell. Hopefully they are not playing Bloodcasters anymore. If this is a Lightning Storm that we just brought to play into, then the game's likely over. I'll probably just concede on the spot because we don't have the third power to start deploying actual threats. Is that where it is? Okay, so it's JPS. So I've got 3 colour beatdown here. Didn't like that. So it mustn't have been good. So the Instigator bites us again. But we're just getting it for 4 damage here. Get a little Warcry on top. Hopefully we'll just draw some sort of like a seat or a banner. I'm not too fussed. Because if it enters undepleted, we're able to deploy one of our better threats. If it was a duel, we'll just be able to play the Instigator anyway. So no reason to play up with the torch, I don't think. I'd rather just get the threats out there, start dealing some damage to our opponent before they're able to do this harsh. I think this is the last turn where we'll start to apply some pressure. Okay, so we'll look at some sort of revenge stuff here. I think this is worth just torching. Just because it lets us get in for damage. Of course at 10. We do have a 5-5 in hand, which can become overwhelming deadly if we draw the correct powers. Okay, Rindra. And... this is going to suck. And we're quite a way away from actually being where we need to be. I suppose we'd play the 6-5 just because it's like an even trade. But if our opponent's playing the counter Bob JPS deck, very good likelihood that they just like harsh rule here and we just die on the spot. But at least we're able to redeploy quite well. Yep, so... Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, they got 2. Okay, it makes sense now. I was wondering what was happening here. So I think we sort of need to draw a power next so we can just obliterate this. Because now Pro's back to 14. And Torch plus Vara's Favor is not going to do it. Vara's Favor for a point here leaves us with a 5-3 hanging back. That we probably don't even block with. Unless there's a Nightfall, there's no reason for a block here. We'd just rather just be able to attack with this. There could very well be a harsh rule here. Oh, backed up, that's fine. So, just get to have it all. Doesn't really matter which one we exhaust. Sort of get in there. Nice chunky damage in. This is 4 on its own, like, probably able to finish the job with the torch. Okay, so, yeah, and we've got it. And could have just had it with the Instigator as well, but that's an easier line to see. Okay, easy redraw. Just at least we're able to play our Instigator, but maybe we really need to consider whether the Instigator needs to be in the deck anymore. This is a bit of a slower hand. Just going to play the banner out first. Because we're more likely to draw a to play power than whatever mixture of events needs to happen for... Yep, so this is good. And I'll get a reasonably powered up Champion Chaos. So this was a crest, so this could very well be Skycrack. Won't mind that matchup actually. Oh no, it's Primal Lucaria. This is going to be difficult. So I'd rather just just get down the 4-3, and I think we might just get the Oni Ronin. Though we do just get completely like ruined by a Lightning Storm. We're just able to improve the quality of our deck before a harsh roll comes and ruins us. And that was nice. We've got a nice big Soulfire Drake there. Of course, Wisdom of the Elders, so I'm quite happy here. Just get to get in for 4 damage, put another 2 Warcries on top. And I think right now we'll just play the champion. The opponent sort of spends time dealing with this. They're not spending time dealing with this. We're just able to keep pumping up the Warcries over here, and we've just got so much haste in the deck, like with this guy here. We will just fire this off first because it's worth 2 points of damage in total, because it pumps this up. And so it's got a bunch in here, so if our opponent deals 5 board for Harsh Rule, we're getting for 7, and then if this is dealt with, we're getting for another 6 here. It's pretty easy for us to clean up now. Our opponent, this felt like it was going to be pretty rough. And okay, so do we now let this side? If we draw a torch, we'll be in good shape. Okay, so Obliterate, so we've got even more haste damage. I think at this point, perhaps we just play the Highwayman. I think they pretty much have to block here, so I'm just going to do the damage to the face. Because I think there's not a world here where they just don't block in a position where it trades, where we're able to actually use the Annihilate. And now we're, even if our opponent Harsh Rules here, we're live to draw any undepleted power and just kill them instantly on the spot. We'd be like, yep, and there's no like Lightning Storm Vanquish to tidy this up either. Okay, on the draw, and as much as I love Oni Ronin, this hand is too slow, so it's a straight redraw. Okay, well, this is quite the opposite. We've got our power sort of attended to. That's fine. If our opponent wants some sort of sabotage deck, that's fine. Just going to chuck this Oni Ronin down. Hopefully he manages to survive to get at least 1 attack in. I'd really like to just plunk down this Stonescar banner. And then just chunk in with this Outlaw. Probably just going to Vara's Favour next turn. There's not much it does against this deck. Just means that we're able to get the Nightfall off this and able to just deploy our Vicious Highwayman on time. Lightning Storm probably broke us. Okay, well. Okay, so just going to play the Yeti. There's another Yeti coming, which is excellent. Okay, so we can't quite trigger the Nightfall yet. We'll do that next turn. But for now, we're just going to get a point of damage in. I've got some sort of fast effector. But we're just going to chunk it for 8. Probably wants to be like, if it was a removal spell, I'm pretty sure they would have responded to the trigger just to remove the element of Warcry here, because Warcries are not nothing. It is actually just improving the quality of your deck. And it's not like the entire deck, but it's in a deck like this where you're only going to see like 10, 11 cards. It's just improving what you're going to see in the actual game. And that's why I really like Warcry and these sort of late game abilities. Well, there's late game units in terms of this cost 4. You know, a lot of decks in this sort of format like start at that point. I'm like, okay, they've got Devastating Setback. We've still got 2 on left behind because Warcry is stupid. And I think chuck in here. Play this off the top of the deck. And should have played the Vara's Favour first. But I'm going to use it to like pop an Aegis and Cinder Yeti, whatever is played here. Because I'm going to guess there's not actually got anything for Aegis. So I'm just talking nonsense. I was actually just incorrect to not play that Vara's Favour because it was a free damage and still lets us play this. But on 10 life, we've got Bandit Queen. So there's not much to justify here. End of the road, friend. Okay, well, this is a redraw. It's a little bit too slow. No double influences, so chip that back. Didn't actually catch everyone on the play of the draw there because I was looking at my mana, but we're on the play it seems. So we'll get this seat out and Pyroknight up. We are going to be able to turn this into a little Granite, which if it chips in for like 1 or 2 damage, it's a pretty great shape to be in. Get the banner down while we can. Just Pyroknight's actually perhaps not the best to be leading on because it just feels like so much less pressure when you're facing down this. Well, this is just getting exhausted. If our opponent puts a Bloodletter in it, then probably in a lot of trouble. It's going to be quite difficult for us to deal with it. And is that what's happening? Nope, that's just attacking and happy to trade. I think I might be, because this gets to the point. Next turn this will just invalidate whatever we're up to. Actually, think about it, no, that's not going to trade. Perhaps our opponent plays something else that just invalidates this. But actually here, I'm just going to walk right. I should probably be... Actually don't have any fast effects here that could deal with this. I'm just going to get him for our damage. And hopefully, yep, so they're able to annihilate here, which is worth a point. Obviously just annihilate anyone if we're blocked, but would be plus a few life. And they've got our opponent at 14. Next turn we're just going to Soulfire Draco, and that makes the entirety of our deck a massive threat. Okay, well, this is also good. So, we'll just Cinder Yeti this. And chuck out a 4-4. Just soften our opponent up even more, just so that this Soulfire Drake is just like the last 5 or 6 points. Okay, well, what do we do here? So, basically, they're a virtual 7 here, so I just need to think about what happens. So I assume this blocks here, and this blocks here, they take 2, they take 3, and... yeah, it's not quite enough. We also can't just sit here forever, because we're in trouble if our opponent gets to put like the life whip on this. Then we're in trouble quite a lot. I think I'm just going to chuck in for the 5 here. And then next turn we just get to attack all, like, quite easily. We also have an additional point of burn here. Yep, so they've got the Blood Ladder, which is a problem to get to gain 8 here. They've got 10 and we've not got enough to block it with, because we've got 9. So I'm not going to bother. Take the 8, go to 12. How many cards does it get? Okay. So we've got 12. Goes back to 15, which is more the problem. This stupid card here. But they did get this guy here, which is worth a couple of points of damage. That would have been a good spot to have a Cinder Yeti. So maybe I was a little bit too hasty in getting them out. I think we'll chunk in for 5. We'll deal a damage here, so we've set up the ultimate over here. Then we'll get Granite down just to chump. Get Instigator down. Because we're just chumping this with like a 1-1 or whatever. Sort of like need to go wide and also keep our opponent's life total in check. They are taking a point of damage here. Okay, so we now get to do the fun maths of what happens with 4 Argenport Instigators in play. And that's probably... I'm in a lot of trouble. Well, a lot of my decks just got charge and flying. So... if we like do some huge gang blocks there, we're actually in loads of trouble. Because we just, well, our opponent takes 4 or whatever, but we take even more. So right now, I think I'm just going to chuck this 1-1 away. Then we're left with some relevant bodies. Yep, we've got a 5. And our opponent managed to fade this here. So what can we do here? So if we ultimate here, this just gets blocked there, and everything else blocks, and we don't both mutually die, sadly. I'm not sure how... actually, I'm going to... for science. I'm pretty sure we lost this game, but I'm going to see what happens for science in how the active player, like non-active player, instigator triggers happen. Our opponent basically has to make blocks here. If they've got to protect for the face, then we're in much trouble. But I'm also just interested to see what happens here. Do they all happen at the same time? Okay, is it a draw? Or did we lose? I assume... yeah, we lost. So the last game was definitely just science going too far, but I was generally just interested to see what happens. I think right here, even though in the draw we do have 2 Oni Ronins, we're able to deploy them quite quickly. If we draw any power, we've got these Cinder Yetis just to keep getting in for damage. And then if we just draw more influence, we're able to fully power up this champion of chaos because we've always got 2 out of the 3 here. So we'll keep this. I can very much see that if our opponent is just playing like a Vara's Favors deck, and when we play our first Oni Ronin, they just get rid of it, then we're in a load of trouble. Well, slam this down. We've also got, in the meantime, we've got some sort of Vara's Favor. Say this is some sort of mirror. Yep. So rather than sort of establishing... Oh, they've got 2. Okay. So the hand's just better than ours. So I'm going to attack, see what they do. Because this way I get the Warcry. Okay, and it's getting jumped off. So get out of here, Oni Ronin. Because I feel like if I'd Vara's Favored first, then they'd be more inclined just to block there. Uh-oh. They're like a super wide version of our deck. This is the problem. Well, at least we get to sort of start getting in there with stuff. So what do we want to do here? We attack here, it just sort of gets chunked by one of these Grenadines. I think we just play this. Because then next turn we're able to get this down, charging away. Do quite a lot of damage that way. A little bit rusty on these mirrors. Our opponent doesn't have an additional power in hand there, because otherwise they'd want to get full value out of this. Okay, so they've got a Scepter here, which is quite good against us. But we'll take 4, let them have 2 Warcries, that's fine. I think this turn I'm just going to fully power up our champion and Bandit Queen. Because it looks like we're not dead unless our opponent has a Bandit Queen. So we're able to chunk in for much damage now. Then next turn we get to play like Cinder Yeti, plus Oni Ronin as like a chumper, and hopefully just get in there for enough damage. Yep. So Argenport Instigator. Interesting inclusion in this deck. So like, okay, they get like a torch or anything. So I need to think here. So if we sort of like take this out of the fight, are we able to get it for 9? And I think we actually aren't, which is a problem. So maybe we just never pause. Let me think. So they just block the 5, they block the 4-3, like, obviously. And then are left with getting for 7, they're at 2. They have a Warcry on top. Maybe I just, if I get it for this 4, they just like trade off me, so they're getting any damage whatsoever. Just attack with this. If I attack with all, I'm just like, I'm off it at this point. Like, this is the 3rd video of the day. Like, maths is hard. Just let them trade, get it for a bunch of damage, and no matter what they do, they're dead next time. Just gonna block whatever's big here, and hopefully not die. If there's a rally or a queen, we're dead. But I'm happy just to live dangerously. And there was a Warp Yeti, so we are donezo. Alright, don't to show off. Right, so what are we taking here? We're taking 5, 7, 8, 9, 11. Yep, so it was exactly enough. So block it, and we like go on -1 or something. Should have perhaps left this little idiot back just so we had like an extra blocker. That probably would have been correct. But you live and learn. Okay, and this is a redraw. So that's all the last game of the set. Okay, this is good. We get a Warcry, well, Oni Ronin into a Suffocate, which is quite nice. It means we actually just, very unlikely we're not able to get through if this isn't dealt with. These Warcries are great. Really, really cool mechanic this is. It plays into like spot removal. Oh, okay. It like plays into spot removal because you sort of like put all your eggs in one basket if you just like draw the one thing that's kind of like Warcry 5. Oh no. Well, we're against that hammer deck, so perhaps in trouble. Let's just suffocate this, get in for some damage, and then hopefully hold this torch up for a Sword of Icaria. I'm not seeing many Swords of Icaria recently. Perhaps they should rise up a little bit because it's a little bit easier to get than the Runehammer is in some matchups. And it also deals with a lot of the same threats. And okay, got a Highwayman that's got the buff. So if we get to it, this will be quite good. But at this moment in time, we've just got 2 power and sadly can't cast out a 2-drop. But we do have a little bit of insulation from swords. Okay, well, we're just going to torch this, get out of the way. Right, get out of there. I've got like a blank 2-1 with no text. Probably going to lose this game because we're not able to deploy any of our threats. Well, at least we don't get blown up by Harsh Rule because we literally can't. So we're getting close to like Rune Hammer territory, so I'm just playing the 3-3 out. If it gets torched, I'm like, whatever, but just don't want to play my 4-4 out, which is worth more damage, and then it just die. Also, it just opens up any vanquishes. Okay, well, we draw a Annihilate. And yeah, if we Annihilate is great for 5 damage. I've just got so many chunky threats, it's probably fine. I'd have liked to have got like an extra damage out of that. I just like having an Argenport Instigator with an ability in play. Navini Warsinger, wow. I did not. That was an accusatory voice line from Navani. They accused me of doing something I didn't do. Well, we just get to attack it, it's basically free. If opponent blocks, it's like, okay, well, whatever. You invalidated our unit anyway. Now we get to kill your thing. So, probably should have attacked with the 2-1 as well, but I also thought that attacking with the 3-3 just made it obvious what I was up to. But anyway, perhaps I should have attacked. But if they just block this, we're just getting for free damage and they've still got Navini. They don't have enough time like to actually make the most of the ability, but every time I see the card, I'm just like, oh, I've got to kill this like straight away. So we've now got the double red that we need, which is a problem. So chunk in there for 2. Pretty sure our opponent's like just on some sort of more mid-rangey version of this deck. Just like perhaps it's Tax Collector. What is this? One of your units dies, you gain. Okay, this is aggressive. Well, I was going to attack in. Like the blockade is fine to kill a second of the units for Vara's favour. This card is busted. Because it's like you didn't even use this card. It just had a influence. Also means you get to cheat on power the favours. The favour stack is pretty good. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Like, do we have cycling out of sets? Do we have rotations? I don't know. Well, do we just go for the full Dunzos here? Who's my favourite? Obviously it's Bandit Queen. Bandit Queen favourite girl. No BMs. Just absolutely love this artwork. Okay, so this game, it wins or loses very quickly, so it's a bit of a shorter video today, it's going to be like half an hour, but I think we've got like 12 games or something in, just like some obscene number. Cinder Yeti is still as good as advertised. Tarot is still a bit of a problem, as we're never able to obliterate, annihilate, or well, suffocate it, unless something's gone really wrong. Maybe this is like a reason to have rapid shots in the deck. Perhaps you could just swap out the Argenport Instigator for that, because the double shadow influence was actually a little bit of a problem. Whereas it was never really a problem for the Highwaymans, just because of how late in the game they come. You really just want to get the Instigators out there as soon as possible. And maybe the Vara's Favour just make that a little bit easier, so you can just like play it on free or whatever, but just want to get it down and get doing the damage as soon as possible. Ideally you want to get the Argenport Instigator, because this is probably like 12 damage on its own. Like, typically it's going to be the average just like dies and you just take one or whatever. But in like the good cases we manage to just damage your opponent, just like kill some other blockers. You just sort of like get a little bit of value out of these other spells like Suffocate. So Suffocate is just like kill a thing, like they take 1 damage plus they don't have a blocker. And the Argenport Instigator just really lets you turn the cards into damage, and that's all you want to do with your cards. All your cards just has to be worth some sort of damage, because you just can't afford to like hang with the big guys. You just need to get in there, end the game on like turn 5 or 6. Of course, Oni Ronin, like I come with like Warcry is a very good ability. We see the Warcry on the Rakano Outlaw and the Highwayman, and what that does is just sort of improves the quality of what's left in your deck. Because we just want to win the game quite quickly, and we don't want to go out late. The quality of the cards that we actually draw is quite important, and if on turn 5 you draw like a 2-1, like that's never going to do anything, but if you draw like an Oni Ronin or a Rakano Outlaw and they just had like 3 or 4 Warcries, they're now like actual threats. And especially with units like Pyroknight, and just like the interesting side you can get with the Cinder Yeti when it's on top of your deck and you get to Warcry in. Or just like the Death Touch Overwhelm unit of Champion of Chaos. When she gets a Warcry too, and she becomes like the old original Champion of Chaos form, this is a very good card. Like for those at home who weren't playing like right at the beginning of the open beta, the Champion of Chaos used to get +1/+1 for these influences. And it was very easy, like just to end the game for 5/5 Champion of Chaos. And perhaps it was too good because it was too difficult to answer. But right now it's in a spot where you can answer it with both Vanquish and Torch. That's probably healthy for the game. You don't want this just like busted 5/5 getting in there. Basically, can't ever trade with anything. And when it's combined with Rapid Shot, your opponent's just taking 1,000,000 damage. And yeah, maybe just having this in deck is another reason to have the rapid shots back in. But overall, I enjoyed this deck. It is probably quite good for just if you've got like a small time frame and you just want to get as many ranks or get into the next rank. You want to get into gold, like diamond or whatever. You just want to crack into the little bit of masters. It's probably quite good for me. I don't want to play this like in my normal leisure time. It's not something that just fits in. But if I'm trying to last minute get into the masters, or I just want to get into the top 100 or whatever, then perhaps this is something I want to experiment with. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been That Resolves, and this was Highway Queen.